Oh my God, this is going to be the best sweet potato pie you have ever had. The filling is perfectly spiced, and the crust is homemade, nice, buttery, and flaky. Just take a look at it. I'm going to start off by blind baking my crust. You don't have to do this, but this is something I like to do. You can par bake it, or you can just fully bake the crust. Now, I'll either completely blind bake it or I'll par bake it. It just depends on how I feel at the moment. This time I'm going to par bake it. And I'm going to fill the pie pan with some beans. Using beans is a whole lot cheaper than buying pie weights, because when you buy pie weights, they give you like a little small bag and you got to use a bunch of them. And I've got a little over a pound of sweet potatoes. You don't want to go more than that, or you're going to have to adjust your recipe. Now I'm just going to poke some holes in them, and I'm going to pop them in the microwave for about 10 minutes instead of putting them in the oven, which takes about 45. And if you're trying to save time, that's the way to go. You can see that these are going to be completely done. There isn't anything extra that I'm going to have to do to them. I was telling one of my friends how I was making sweet potato pie, and he was saying how good sweet potato pie is with ice cream. I was like, yeah, sweet potato pie is good with whipped cream. He was like, no, not whipped cream. I mean, ice cream. Sweet potato pie is good with vanilla ice cream. I have never in my life seen anybody have sweet potato pie with ice cream, not one time. But to each their own. I'm guessing that it's good. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to try it one day. But whipped cream is the only thing I've ever seen people pair with sweet potato pie. Now, hearing something like that makes me wonder what else people are pairing with sweet potato pie. I really have never seen anything else other than just some whipped cream. Ice cream to me, just, I don't know. So after I got my sweet potatoes in this bowl, I'm going to add some melted butter to it. I will make sure to put all of the measurements in the description for you. Now, after I add the melted butter, I'm going to start adding my spices, where I've got some cinnamon, some cloves, and some nutmeg. These are your standard spices for sweet potato pie and pumpkin pie too. And I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla as well. Next, I'm going to add some molasses. Now, I know I could use brown sugar instead of using white sugar, but I think the flavor of the molasses, adding it this way, is a little bit different than using brown sugar, because in the brown sugar, I don't really taste the molasses when I add it. So adding it like this gives it a little bit different flavor that I like. And when you add the sugar, you want to make sure that you use 1 cup per pound. Now I'm adding some heavy cream, and I should have added the heavy cream later, which is what I usually do. I don't know why I added it this early, because I have to make sure that the sweet potatoes are smooth, which is why I'm using the immersion blender. Adding the heavy cream this early is just going to turn it into whipped cream, which is just going to make the filling thick. It's not going to affect anything. It's not going to affect the flavor or the texture. It's just going to make it thicker for the meantime. When it goes into the oven, it's all going to melt down. It'll be completely normal. So I've got my oven preheated to 350, and I'm going to put the pie in the oven for about 45 minutes to an hour. And this is what it looks like when it's done. You want to make sure that you cool it for about an hour before you decide to cut into it. To tell if your pie is ready in the oven, if it jiggles too much, it's not done. If it jiggles just a little, it's probably done. If it doesn't jiggle at all, it's probably overdone, but it's still good. Now, this pie is super easy to make, and it is amazing. If this pie doesn't make you the MVP of desserts, I don't know what will.